Pat Condell has posted yet another video parroting a number of right-wing talking points, so I feel compelled to reply and get my video voted down or whatever. I don't disagree at all with Pat's views on the religion of Islam. He seems to view Islam as 1, bullshit, 2, harmful, and 3, dangerous. I agree. I think Islam is bullshit. I think that the things that Islam promotes really are dangerous. I think Sharia law is instituted denial of individual liberties. And I think the way that the clerics and other religious leaders in Islam treat people in their own countries is absolutely appalling. So we don't disagree there. But as in his last video about the mosque near Ground Zero, Pat Condell repeats a lot of things about Muslims that sound very, very dubious to me. Particularly, he talks about, these supposed plans to institute Sharia law in the United States. I have seen no hard evidence that any such plan is afoot. It's important when discussing these issues to look at the sources of people's information. And if you look at the crotch bar on Pat Condell's video, he links to a lot of sources. Among these are WorldNetDaily, Anti-Care, CNS News. CNS currently stands for Cybercast News Service, but when the company was founded, it stood for Conservative News Service. FrontPageMag, and Accuracy in Media. So let's just go through these, because these are the sources of these claims, and these are the information sources that Pat Condell is relying on. And I encourage anyone watching this video, if anyone does, to go to the websites of these groups and look at what they publish. Look at what they talk about. Look at the ideas they're promoting. If you go to WorldNetDaily's website, you will find that they promote birtherism, which is the belief that Barack Obama was really born in Kenya and therefore isn't eligible to be president. They support young earth creationism, which is the belief that the universe was created by God 6,000 years ago. They promote global warming denial, which is the idea that all the evidence for global warming is really a massive conspiracy of scientists to, institute socialism or some horse shit like that. And the list goes on and on and on. You can find all kinds of utterly insane shit on WorldNetDaily's website. Simply put, they are not a reliable news source. They just make shit up. So why is Pat Condell linking to them? As for CNS News, they're not as bad as WorldNetDaily, but they've also promoted quite a bit of utter horseshit. They've tried to swift-boat congressmen and question their military careers and stuff like that. Anti-Care, if you go to their website, what you'll find is a bunch of hyper-patriotic bullshit, eagles and flags and all that crap. And it's one of those websites, you always know crazy when you see it, because when Crazy makes a website, Crazy can't just say something. They have to use lots of bold and italics and different colors, and it ends up just looking like, to quote P.Z. Myers, Technicolor vomit. And that's about the best description I could give of their website. Anyways, and yeah, again, they just repeat a lot of these claims that can also be found at WorldNetDaily and CNS and places like that, and which are also equally unfounded. FrontPageMag is run by a guy named David Horowitz. In an interview recently, I'll give a link to the interview below, he stated that basically liberals hate America because he just gives basically the standard line about how liberals have this agenda that they want to destroy America. And he also claims that America is an anti-white racist country. So, who hates America here? But anyways, anyone who thinks that America is an anti-white racist country is full of shit. That is not the way this country works. Horowitz is kind of a notorious racist. He's invited known, admitted white supremacists to write articles for his Front Page magazine. One example is a guy named Jared Taylor, who is a white nationalist, and there's no question about that. He's invited him to write for Front Page magazine. And his excuse was, well, he's not racist. It's not racism. It's racialism that Jared Taylor has promoted. I don't see the difference between racism and racialism. But I don't know, maybe I'm stupid. And, there's this really sophisticated form of racism called racialism that actually isn't racism. But it sounds like racism to me. So again, Pat Condell is quoting from this source published by a guy who knowingly publishes racialist material. Again, is this a reliable source? And this final group that I want to discuss, Accuracy in Media, or AIM, is one of the numerous right-wing groups in the United States that claims that there's a liberal bias in the media and devotes all their efforts to counteracting the liberal bias. And again, if you go through their website, the examples of liberal bias they find are pretty goddamn crappy. It seems like they just see liberal bias everywhere and in anything. To quote Steve Colbert, it appears that reality has a liberal bias if you go by these guys. So anyways, one might excuse Pat Condell by saying, well, these are all American sources and he's British. So maybe he just doesn't know that, say, WorldNetDaily is a young earth creationist, birther, global warming denial outfit for lunatics. But that's not a good excuse, because I'm American, but I know who the BNP is, and I know not to trust them. So, if I, an American, can recognize the far right-wing nuts in Britain, I don't think it's too much to ask that a British person like Pat Condell can recognize the far right-wing nuts in this country. The truth is, Condell's claims about Islam, the religion, I don't agree with, but his claims about Muslims, the people, I strongly disagree with, and I think his sources are very unreliable.